Hello and welcome back to Mark Reviews. I don't consider myself a YouTuber, but surprisingly, Sony sent me an email asking me if I'd like to review a mystery product. I was really hopeful it would be a 100-inch QD OLED TV screen, but after a few days, I was sent this small package in the post, and it turned out to be these brand new Sony LinkBuds. And we'll get on in a moment what makes the LinkBuds a bit different. But anyway, this was sent in a completely plastic-free packaging, which was quite impressive. Very small package and very tightly packed. When you open it, obviously you can scan your camera over that QR code, and that immediately links you to a page just demonstrating these new earphones, I should call them, and how to insert them into your ears. All fairly self-explanatory. I wasn't exactly sure what these things were, but all will be revealed in the next few moments. Looking further into the package, it's just a small diagram about those same plastic things. It also comes with a very small USB-A to USB-C charging cable, barely 20, just over 20 centimeters. So a bit of an issue there when you're charging it. Not much room to stretch it across on a table, for example. And then there's a little pull-out drawer, and this contains these little rubber attachments. So I took them all out of the box and lined them up, and you can see there are different sizes, and these go round these new LinkBud earphones. That's just a picture of all the contents, all the warranty information, and now it comes to the main unpacking of the earphones. But before you do all that, you have to charge them up. So I plugged in that nice short USB-C cable. At least they do provide, and it is now a USB and not micro USB charging cable. But as you can see, it's dangling in the air. And this is them. This is the case, nice and compact. I wouldn't say incredibly small, quite hefty. Measurements are up on the screen. As you can see, it does have a slightly speckled appearance, and that's not because it's covered in dust or dirt, but it's because it's completely made by recycled plastic parts from the automotive industry. The actual model designation is WFL900. So that goes with all the other wireless designation headphones. Anyway, nice, neat little case. And unfortunately, although it's quite big, it still doesn't have any wireless or Qi charging, so it has to be charged with the cable. I'm going to open it up now, and again, this is a criticism that still stays the same. It's quite fiddly to open with that button just on the lower half of the front, and also quite disappointing that the lid isn't properly hinged. It just flops forward, so not exactly brilliant. These are lightly waterproof headphones from sweat and light showers. They'll be resistant. And again, such an interesting design. And the whole raison d'etre for these new headphones are the fact that when you put them in your ears, they're meant to allow you to listen to your music, but also hear the surrounding environment, which is a bit odd in my opinion. When I listen to music, I'd rather just hear the music. But there are, I'm sure, certain situations where you'd want to be aware of your surroundings, for example, at work, or maybe when you're travelling on public transport, things like that, or on the tube, may want to be aware of your surroundings while also listening to music. The actual link buds are very, very small, just 4.1 grams in weight each. And this is what makes them special, this special donut-shaped speaker that is placed just on the outer part of the ear. And you just have this little extra plastic attachment, which you've already seen comes in different sizes to help keep it fixed within the ear while you're using them. I'm just going to show you how to actually remove this piece and change it over. So there's a nice recessed groove where that plastic attachment sits. You can see they're made in Malaysia. And the main bulk nub is where all the electronics sit. The infrared sensor, so it knows when it's in and out of your ear, and the electrical contacts for charging. You can see on this left-hand speaker, it looks as if there's a biro mark or pen mark on the speaker, but again, that's just part of the recycled nature of the plastic used. So you get these little marks or dust marks that you can see, gives it that finish. And then this is just placing this rubber attachment back on. Pretty simple to do, just stretches over the main LinkBud body, and you just have to ensure that that gap just slips over that plastic nub, and then it's secure and it's not going to pop out easily. But overall, nice and tiny, really small. Feels like a little sweet, really, in your fingers. So yeah, possibly quite easy to lose, but easy to hold. And every time you open it, the light just shows you how charged it is. Green for good, and I'm just linking up now to Bluetooth by you have to open the lid and then just press this button on the back for a few seconds, 5 to 7 seconds I found, and that changes to a blue flashing light. This is just showing the link up on my iPad, and it connects within literally like 2 to 3 seconds, no problem at all. And then once you do that, you're encouraged to download and connect to this Sony Headphones Connect app, and then that connects to your headphones, and once it does, it links into your tablet or phone, and you can see now it's just the music that's being shown on screen, music on my iPad, and you can control the music play from the tablet screen straight away. So you don't have to use your phone. You can see on the upper half of this diagram, you can just see the battery capability. Once you take the headphones out, then it shows you the battery capacity of each piece, both of the LinkBuds and the case. And it's got lots of other menus on this app. So this is the sound menu, and again, it has lots of different equalizer settings. So I've used, for me, a manual setting, how I like it, but you can obviously just use some preset graphic equalizer settings depending on what type of sound you're looking for. Yeah, there's plenty of options there, but like I said, I prefer the manual settings. I just like my sounds how I like them, and I thought I wasn't quite happy with any of the settings they showed. And again, settings for 360 spatial audio, and then DSEE, which is this digital sound enhancement engine, which is Sony's software to try and improve compressed music files. And then the LinkBuds are touch sensitive, so you can tap to perform certain functions. So double tap for play and pause, and a triple tap to fast forward to the next track. You can either LinkBud can be used to do that. Yeah, so plenty of options. It's pretty comprehensive, and I'm sure over time they'll be able to download certain things. There are lots of these other features as well, which I haven't really used. Spotify and soundscaping. They do actually ask you if you want to set up the spatial audio to take photos of your ear, and you can send them off to Sony, and they'll just give you information and advice on the fitting and getting the perfect fitting, which I haven't bothered with. But before all that, a quick anatomy lesson of the ear. The ear is called the pinna, and I'm just going to point out some obvious anatomical markings. This is the earlobe, which I'm sure most people have heard. Now, this part's called the tragus, and when you have an ear infection, for example, if you put pressure on that, the ear can often hurt. This main central area is called the concha or concha, as it looks like a seashell, which is where it gets its name. This top rim of ear is called the helix, and then you've got this little reflection fold of the helix called the antihelix. And I'm explaining all this because this is important to how these LinkBuds insert into your ears. So you can see this is how you place them in your ears, which I have not done correctly at this moment, but you push the main speaker ring just behind the tragus, so it's covering the ear canal, and that allows you to hear music. And this little rubber nub is meant to tuck in under that antihelix area, and you can see I haven't quite done it, and I eventually do it, but it's not perfect. but this is the only nub that would fit my particular ear. You can just see I'm shaking my head just to make sure that they're secure, which they seem to be. And ears are a funny thing. So some people just do not like using earbuds because it hurts or it feels uncomfortable. I'm just doing the tap functions, and you can not just tap the link bud, but you can actually tap the side of your face, which is quite impressive, and it works very, very well, I have to say. So that's quite impressive. But I'm a bit hit and miss about touch functions on headphones because they often go off when you don't want them to be. And I was saying, yeah, ears are quite interesting. So I've learnt now doing this that my left ear is not quite the same as my right ear on the outer aspect. And this one, or this side, although it seems to go in nicely and fit securely, pretty much tends to fall out. And even if you touch your ear even lightly, it can often pop out of the ear. So I've not had much success, although it's got better over time. I'm just showing the battery life there. It's kind of average for this size of earphone, to be honest, when you compare it to Apple AirPods and the like. But yeah, ears are a bit different, so these aren't going to suit everyone simply because of where they're placed on the outer part of the ear, behind the tragus. It's a bit of hard plastic there, and you may find it uncomfortable. So I'm just comparing it to other earphones that I have. These are 3.5 years old. These Beats uh, Pro headphones, but these are much more impressive. They're much bigger, as you can see, case and the actual headphones themselves. I'd actually given these to my mother, and she'd just given them back to me because she found them a bit fiddly to put back in the case. But I'm just showing this is a lovely soft area that fits in the ear canal, and of course you've got that nice rubber spectacle rim, flexible silicone rubber flexible rim that fits over the ears. So in many respects, these are a lot more comfortable to use than the LinkBuds. And although they're much bigger, they're a lot less intrusive because they just sit more comfortably. And of course, the sound's going directly into your ear canal, and the speaker's not sitting on the outer part of the ear, directing sound into your ear like the LinkBuds do. I'm just showing the other one, but yeah, nice and soft, well designed. And although they're much bigger, much heavier, they're in many respects a lot easier to use and put in. And the sound, I have to say, is a lot better and a lot fuller than the LinkBuds provide. I'll talk about that in a moment. And I'm just now going to compare this to the second generation AirPods, which are again just over 3 years old now. And again, very impressively designed, very similar overall uh, dimensions and weights and things to the Sony LinkBuds. You've got a nicely hinged cover there that stays open, doesn't flop forward. And these are the designs of the AirPods, which I'm sure lots of people know about already. Very similar weights as well, 4 grams, similar to the LinkBuds. And these fit into the ears, and these belong to my wife, so she really does like these. And again, she found the LinkBuds too fiddly, and this is the issue. If something's too fiddly, either either to use, to put back, or take out of a case and to put in your ears, and they may not stay in your ears, then you kind of stop using them, I think. But the sound of these is perfectly good, not brilliant. There's a third generation of these now out, and yeah, the Link Buds. I mean, overall, let's talk about the sound. They're good, I would say, impressive, but just good for listening to music. I'm afraid that they're just not bassy enough, and especially when the music becomes very complex, such as with rock sounds and things like that, that it all becomes a bit mushy, especially with the mids and with the lack of bass. They're not that useful, or you're not going to get into the music. You're just listening to your music. They are very, very good, I have to say. Listening to things like YouTube and spoken frequencies, so voices, things like that, are really, really nice to use. And excellent. And I'm just showing, the comparison between the sizes. In, real world, you've just got that hard, rigid donut ring that fits behind the tragus of the ear, and you've got the nice soft rubber silicone earpiece that fits in the ear, and all that. So I think these are a bit more uncomfortable. We can just see the difference in sizes now. I mean, the Beats Pro, they're a few years old. They came without Qi charging as well, but I'm sure it's all different now. And this is more of a comparison. Uh, Very similar prices with the latest AirPods third gen, but I think the AirPods have slightly better battery life, and of course wireless charging as well. and I can't uh, comment on the sound because I don't have the third generation. But these at the moment, £150. I think the earphone market is extremely competitive, and although these have a selling point, such as being able to hear the outside environment and listen to your music, they don't really work that well. Even when I had them in, I literally couldn't hear my wife what she was telling me when I had the music on loud. So yeah, I kind of think you may as well just buy some cheap noise isolating earphones that don't isolate very well, and they'll do the same thing for a lot cheaper price. But they're a little bit fiddly. The case a little bit cheap feeling with that hinge that keeps flopping down when you don't want it to, but nicely designed. Anyway, if you like this review, then give me a thumbs up. If you really like it, then please subscribe. And bye for now.